Wholesaling probates step by step. If you want a full, complete wholesaling real estate course when it comes to finding and wholesaling the probate list, this is the video for you. I'm going to jam pack a $2,000 probate real estate wholesaling program in just this video. And as somebody that has made millions and millions of dollars wholesaling the probate properties, I can tell you it's one of the greatest lists right now to be pulling so you can actually become successful. Probates are actually not that complicated to pull. You make a ton of money every single deal you do. And the best part about this is a completely free list your competition is not pulling right now, and it's going to lead you to wholesaling success. So if you want to get your first deal by doing probates or your 100th deal by wholesaling the probate list, and you want to learn exactly step by step how to do it, make sure you go out here and smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. So we got no fluff today. We just got to break down probates and how to actually do it so you can start doing these type of deals. And obviously, as a beginner in wholesaling real estate, you might have this question, but what are probates? Why should I do the probate list? Well, first, probates are basically the court process of dealing with somebody's estate after they passed away. Maybe it's their assets, cash, stocks, or real estate, whatever they own. And it's pretty much the court process of what should these things happen, which basically means who does the real estate go to, where do the stocks go to, all these things. And in this court process, they're going to see who the relatives are. They're going to see if there's a wife, a spouse, if there was a will done, if the will's correct or not. And I know me talking about this right now probably is turning you off on probates, and this seems really complicated. But the cool part about wholesaling real estate is we can find all the people that unfortunately passed away. They're actually doing a probate case currently for them to get the property, and they just want to sell the house and get rid of it. Sometimes they do the probate, they want to keep the property, but the reason why this list is so amazing is because there's a lot of these people that have ugly houses that just want to get rid of them for cash. And hint, hint, these are going to be $30, $40, even $50,000 paydays. My biggest wholesaling deal ever was $115,000 from one probate deal. Think about that for a second. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is like life-changing stuff, it is life-changing. 115 grand from a probate deal. And this was a deal somebody went out here, filed a probate case. We reached out and said, hey, are you looking to sell the property? They said, well, kind of. We met at the property and they're like, oh, we got to go through the probate court process. And this is where a lot of beginners are like, oh, this is way too complicated. But really what we did was, hey, no, we actually have a probate attorney at the title company. And all we have to do is make an agreement for me to purchase the property, aka a contract. And then I sold that contract to a cash buyer and made a big, hefty assignment fee. That's how you wholesale probates. It's pretty simple. So what is a probate? It's basically the process from a court of what to do with someone's estate. And I know that's not the perfect legal definition, so please look it up. Every single state has different definitions, but that's pretty much as close as it's going to be. And what we do in wholesaling is we put the property under contract while it's in probate, and the really complicated and legal work is mostly done by the title company. And the cash buyer already pays the title company, so all the complicated, crazy stuff and questions aren't really being thrown at us at all. So really, all we do is find these people, put the property under contract, find the buyer, have the title really do a lot of the work, and we get paid. Remember, title companies make a lot of money on every transaction, so they're definitely getting paid well for their work. So I think I kind of brushed this over again, but why should you be pulling probates? Should be pulling probates is because number one, most wholesalers aren't pulling this type of list, which gives you an unfair advantage. Number two, it's free. And probably my favorite part, you make more money for every probate deal when it comes to wholesaling than any other list possible. My average probate deal is pushing $40,000 on average for one deal, where the other deals are going to be $20,000 or $25,000. Now I know I got you really excited and we're going to do a full step-by-step tutorial right now, but I do need to let you know, starting off the bat, just to weed out the people that don't like to work hard, the cons of probates. There are big rewards by doing probates. I already told you there's massive wholesaling deals, but there's also some cons you need to understand here. One of the biggest cons I could tell you on probates is it's a lot of work to pull the list. I am not going to lie to you. It's not going to be a quick button that you're used to with PropStream or batch leads where you click a button and all the probates magically pop off and they pop on the screen for you. That's not how it works. And if that's how it worked, every single wholesaler would do that, and that means this list would suck. So be thankful that it's actually hard to get. The next part is the probates are beholden to the court system in the United States of America. And unfortunately for you, there are over 3,000 counties in the United States, and every single county does the probate process a little differently. So getting the list is going to be different for every single county you do, which could suck for virtual wholesaling. But once you crack the code, you can get a list that other wholesalers can't. And when you get lists that other people don't, that yield a lot of good results. It's like having the magic spot for fishing, and it's the greatest lake ever and nobody knows about it. And you can make a ton of money consistently. So let's get into right now how to pull these probate lists. Now, the probate list and wholesaling them is really not that complicated. It's a lot of work, but it's not that complicated. First and foremost, we got to head over to where the probates are. So if you want to catch fish, where do the fish live, right? Where do all the probate cases live? Well, all the probate cases live at the clerk of the court website or at the clerk of the court for your local city or county. Now, what's the difference between somebody that just passed away and it being a probate? Is it automatic? Somebody passes away, boom, it's in probate already? No, that is not how this process works. What actually happens is somebody passes away, and it could take any time possible. I've had people pass away and they do the probate 5 years later. Whenever someone's ready to make the decision on transferring ownership, we're actually executing somebody's estate, then they'll do it, they'll make a decision, and then they'll file the probate. So all you gotta do is go to the clerk of the court. You can do it online or go in person. And what you're specifically going to look for is for the probate court cases and wanting information on those cases. Now, here's the biggest mistake people have when it comes to pulling probates. A lot of wholesalers will watch this video, go to the clerk of the court and say, give me all the probates right now. And the clerk of the court lady, who probably just started like 2 months ago, is like, what? I need the probate list right now. You give it to me. And people are like, what's going on? People legit watch these videos and do this. Do not be that type of guy or gal. What you want to do on the other end is maybe go to the clerk of the court in person, kindly ask, how can I get all the information on all the active probate cases going on in the clerk of the court? They might say, why do you want that information? Well, I'm doing this for private research. I'm a tax-paying citizen doing private independent research. And I know it seems like that's kind of the same thing to say, but it's a completely different language, and you're actually speaking their language when you do that for the clerk of the court. And it actually does a lot better for you. You can do this online and just go to the court cases and actually search it if you have a website in your clerk of the court that does it. Most of them actually do, so it's pretty easy and convenient, and you can just find the court cases. And specifically, what's the information we're looking for here? The specific information we're looking for here is the deceased person's first and last name, basically their full name. We want to find the person that passed away, and we want to get their information. Best information, the one that we bare bones need, is going to be the person that passed away's info. Now, on top of that, I would say this is another requirement, but you want to get what we call the PR's information, or personal representative. This is basically the person that is in charge of somebody's estate. These are basically the heirs. So let me give you a quick example here. If somebody's uncle died and the uncle didn't have any kids, but they trusted their nephew or their brother, one of them would be considered the PR and the executor on the estate. They can make decisions on the person's estate once the person passes away. That PR, that person that has already been appointed as the person that is a representative for the estate, can still legally, in most states, check your laws, sign a contract right now. And that is the person we actually want to get a hold of. Because, for example, if John Smith passed away, I can't go call heaven right now and get him to sign a contract. It doesn't work like that. I have to go probably call John's brother or John's nephew, whoever is the personal representative. I might get a hold of John's brother, but if John's brother is actually not the PR, he actually can't sign anything right now. We have to actually go to the personal representative. So just FYI, most personal representative information is on there, a first and last name and their mailing address usually, and the decedent's person's name, the person that passed away, their first and last name, and usually the property address that's in the estate is listed in that information. So if everything works out perfectly and we get all the information we want, we should have the decedent's first and last name, the property address that they actually owned, and the personal representative's first, last, and mailing information. Now, I would say maybe 30 to 34% of all probate cases are like that easy to get. A lot of them are a lot more work. For example, they might only give you the decedent's name and the PR's name, and that's all we got to work with. And that's not as fun to do, but you can still work with it, because once you get the person that passed away their name, we can actually go to the property appraiser website or the official records and look up their information and see what property a John Robert Smith owned in Smithfield, Mississippi. You can actually do that. Go to the property appraiser website, more at freewholesaling.com. And if you want to get the PR's information, you only have their name, you can actually use a website like truepeoplesearch.com to get more information. Heck, you can even put the decedent's person's name and the property address that they owned into truepeoplesearch.com, go by relatives, and you can actually get phone numbers by that. That's a really good tactic I do teach at freewholesaling.com. FYI, it's my free wholesaling course. And not to get on a tangent here, but yes, I do have a course that teaches probates for free, and it's actually me doing screen shares and pulling the list and calling these people and doing all this. It is at freewholesaling.com. FREEWHOLESALING.com, freewholesaling.com. I have all that information in there. Now, if you can't get the probate case, or let's say, for example, there's no search tabs, or the person in front of you said, there's no probate information at all, we don't do probates, you got to ask them some questions and you got to be a little more aggressive. So you're telling me, Mr. Clerk of the Court, when somebody passes away, there's no probate process for the county. It just automatically goes to whoever they want. So you're telling me the next person that passes away, I can legally get ownership of their property? No, that would be chaos, right? And they will be like, well, yeah, we actually do probates because because that does make sense. And you're like, well, you just told me there's no probates, and now you just said, yes, there are probates. See, you got to catch the people on their lie. Or they'll say, that's private information. I could never give you that information. And really, to answer that counter that they always give, just say, okay, well, can you please give me the court dockets for all the probates, or just the court dockets for the entire court cases today? And the cool part about court dockets, which is basically a schedule of all the court's arraignments, cases being seen for the day, they always show what the case is about and the case type. Specifically, case type, you can go by probates, and you can see usually the case is about the estate of Martin Harold, and you can just search Martin Harold's up and get more information and get information inside that court docket. So that's another great tip I can tell you. But really, my biggest tip for you is if they're giving you a hard time, keep showing up, speak to a manager, and always demand for that court information in those court cases. You'll actually be surprised, but if you keep going consistently and you're persistent, you can beat the resistance. Persistence beats resistance. Basically, when you get that information, what you want to do is what we call skip tracing and getting these people's phone numbers. You can use a website like listrei.com to get someone's phone number, or you can use a free website like truepeoplesearch.com. Once you use a website like that to get their phone numbers, we can just start calling them. What's my probate script for cold calling? It's pretty simple. I just use my simple cold calling script I have at freewholesaling.com. Hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? And are you looking to sell their property? From there, you go to freewholesaling.com. You can learn exactly how to shift that conversation to an appointment, a contract, and a deal. That, guys and gals, is how you find and pull and wholesale the probate property list so you can get a ton of money in your wholesaling business. Most gurus would take 4 hours to tell you all this information and charge you all this money on a weekend seminar, but I'm giving it to you absolutely for free right now. So do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button and got some value from this video, and make sure you go to freewholesaling.com, my free wholesaling course. This is Zach Ginn signing out. Have a blessed one.